Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about toys.
I love toys.
Yeah.
It's my favorite things to talk about.
She was playing with her ponies before we...
Well, I wasn't really playing with them. I have a whole bunch decapitated at home.
Some people consider that play, right? Dismembering ponies.
I have to take them apart so I can make them pretty again.
Yeah, so do some serial killers, but take you apart, make you pretty. Put the lotion on your skin.
We love toys.
We do.
You know, and we're very concerned because it sounds like with the tariffs that not only are the bigger toy companies that, you know, you might be buying your stuff from, like Mattel and Hasbro, might have issues come holidays, but like some of the smaller companies that, you know, don't have as many resources as, you know, Hasbro and Mattel are really, really kind of concerned. Like Little Subjects and Queen's Treasures, which is a company that makes American Girl stuff. Well, 12 and 18-inch doll stuff. Anyway.
American Girl stuff made in China.
I mean, it's all made in China, really.
It's all, well, that's what we want to talk about, right? Because we had people in other videos, we talked about the tariffs, we talked about how it is going to, in the short term, hurt a lot of small businesses in the short term, right? I mean, hopefully this thing gets resolved sooner rather than later, because even American-made stuff, I don't think people realize, like, they get their components and parts from overseas.
A lot of times, yeah.
Very few things are 100% produced exclusively in America, so it's easy to say, hey, just buy American, make American. It's like, yeah, it's gonna take a while. It's gonna take a while.
Again, my hope is that, you know, if we don't get the tariffs thing resolved, my hope is that there are places in the United States that have the capability to do things. And I think there's a lot of places that have the capability to do things that are normally made in China, but there wasn't a demand for it here because everyone went to China. But if they can find, you know, people that can manufacture this, and they should be able to manufacture that, it might open a whole new business for these other companies in America too. And it would make it easier for people to get their stuff made here. Yeah,
we'll talk about that, because that will be, hopefully the upside to this is that manufacturing will come back to the US, but it can't be turned on overnight, and it's not going to be turned on in time for Christmas.
But other countries manufacture stuff too.
That is also true.
Yeah, people don't realize that too. Just because you can't get it from China doesn't mean you can't get it from another country that makes them the stuff there too.
Right. China just kind of became the default because they're the biggest. They have the most factories. And they're, you know, super aggressive about, you know, getting manufacturing over there. But I mean, we're even sourcing stuff from other countries now in the process of that.
If we can't get it here.
America's preference is first. America's first, but some things you just cannot, they do not have the capability to make here. And a lot of it is toys and toy adjacent stuff. And, you know, we talked about how Hasbro and Mattel, how their stock kind of took a nosedive because, you know, people are like, hey, you're not going to sell a lot of toys if the toys cost too much. And this is coming from, again, a smaller toy company. And they said that, some toy companies are probably going to go out of business completely. They are. So, you know, I don't know. I guess this Christmas you can go to Ollie's and
whatever's left now.
Whatever's left. But they're saying there's not going to be. They said they're kind of doom and gloom. They're kind of like, oh, it's going to be like toilet paper. We're not going to have.
Yeah, but we don't
any
know
toys
yet.
For Christmas.
Like,
we don't
know.
What
I mean,
we don't know.
Usually orders go in here pretty soon though, if they haven't gone in already.
Yeah,
and they usually have the stock in the store or warehouses by probably fall at the latest, or end of summer. So there's still time that it can be fixed. But
so let's take a look at these numbers here. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You'll get a woohoo if you do.
I don't know if I want a woohoo for this. Woohoo! But I'm sad about toys.
You're sad about the toys.
Especially Little Subjects, because they were going to bring out the mask toys and stuff, and now I'm like, are we not going to get the mask toys now?
I don't know. So this was put out by the Toy Association, right? And they said, here's the impact of tariffs on the toy industry. And we'll talk about the Little Subjects because I think the CEO
they put a big thing out too. Little Subjects put an op-ed thing out.
Yeah. And they're not sure what they're going to do because that's where all their toys come from. And the thing is, Hasbro is outsourcing a lot of their stuff to companies like the Little Subjects, like the smaller companies, and they're they don't have the buying power that a Hasbro has. So they're going to pay more per unit and their margins are going to be tighter and they're going to need this stuff to come in. And now it's probably not. So they said 96% of American toy companies are small and mid-sized businesses. Less than 50% of them say they will soon go. Wow. Okay. So 50% of them say they will soon go out of business due to the tariffs.
Yeah. Because they're saying they can't hold on for more than a few months at the most.
Wow. Okay. So that, I didn't expect that. I didn't expect it to be that high.
Yeah, no, it is. It's a lot because a lot of the companies, especially smaller ones, they just don't have, like you said, it's already tight margins because their prices are usually higher. So to keep the people buying them, they don't take as much of a profit cut. And they probably, if they raise the prices, people aren't going to buy them if they can even get them.
Well, Loyal Subjects, for those of you who don't know, they're a small or mid-sized toy manufacturer. They have a bunch of Hasbro licenses now. They have Strawberry Shortcake. They have Gem. They have their
they're going to do some more Gem, and now they probably, who knows what's going to happen with that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I was very excited about the masks too.
Yeah, the mask toys look really, really good. So tariffs of 145% on Chinese imports have frozen the toy production supply chain, having a devastating impact on SMEs, many of whom are family owned, including high levels of canceled orders and significant retail canceled purchases, which will quickly result in loan defaults and bankruptcies. Mm-hmm. So a lot of these companies are probably, honestly, they're probably quarter to quarter. And, if they can't, hit their Christmas numbers or their pre-orders, and we even even the collector market is going to get hit pretty hard because I know BigBadToyStore said that they pretty much have to pass the tariffs on to the consumer at this point.
Yeah, I saw people complaining about some of their pre-orders are getting, they're getting charged more.
Yeah, I mean, they put this out. I got this email the other week. They said for 25 years, we've operated as a family-owned business under a 0% tariff rate. Several months ago, a 10% tariff was enacted for goods made in China. It was then doubled to 20. In April, 34%, and it's 54%. Again, there's a pissing match going on here, right? It's a trade war. Last night, another 50% was added. Today, April 9th, an additional 21% was added, bringing it up to 125. It's actually higher than that now. Vietnam was subject to a 46% tariff, but it appears that this has been reduced to 10 for the next 90 days. Yeah, if they can renegotiate. These two countries manufacture 90% of the goods that we sell. So, yeah, he's basically like, we're going to have to raise the price to the consumer. And
you're going to hear this over and over again, too, about we're a family company. Yes. And we're a small company, we're a family company. Several, like the Queen's Treasures, I know, is like a small family company. Loyal Subjects, the guy started it, and it's like, I think it was family and stuff. Then they had, I knew BigBadToyStore was. So you're going to hear that over and over again. Like, we can't absorb it.
Yeah. And this is where I'm kind of like, okay, you got to, look, I understand the long game with the tariff situation.
Yeah. I think it's necessary, but I think they did it too fast.
In the interim, even missing a quarter for these small businesses, these small to medium-sized businesses, missing a quarter is going to potentially put them out of business.
And what's going to happen is only the big companies are just, once again, all the competitions will be wiped out.
Yeah.
The big companies are going to be left.
And people will just be like, I mean, this is where it's hard because it's like, I understand why. Okay. I get why, but it doesn't help the people that are going to get caught up in the middle of this trade war. And then we get people in the comments, but one side or the other. Either you have to be 100% on board with the tariff thing, because I got that in a video saying about the Switch, or you have to be, like, everything needs to be made in America now. And I'm like, well, that's actually not possible now.
No, I think
5 years from now, 10 years from now, yeah, maybe.
I think they need to do this in stages because their goal is to get more stuff made in America, which I think is a good goal. Bring back the jobs that you shouldn't have let go overseas in the first place.
Ultimately it's our fault for letting all the jobs go, but it took decades for everything to be outsourced, right?
And the thing is, it's like you need, and there are things that things that can get started back up, within the next year, next few months. But the problem is you need that time to do that. Yeah. And they needed to break this up because now what's going to happen is, they're going after these big companies and bringing the jobs back, but what they're going to end up doing inadvertently is wiping out a bunch of small companies, not just in toys. It's just one section, clothing, whatever, groceries or whatever. Right. There's all kinds of people are going to get wiped out over this, and it's going to take out a bunch of small businesses, and they really, really need to rethink this whole situation.
Yeah, and And it's not just like people have this idea that's just a bunch of people like importing a bunch of like cheap crap from, you know, overseas or whatever. Like I said, components. And I can speak to this because I worked for a manufacturer for years, and some of our components were only made overseas, and we would bring them over here, or it was like a part we needed for another part that we made, and we would bring them over because they had the equipment to make that particular part. Then we would add to it and then sell it to the customer. So, and that was an proudly American company. It was a proudly flag waving, true blue. Like we had flags out.
Manufacturing it here, you still have to have the parts, and a lot of that stuff doesn't always come from here. Right. I think that it's going to change. Unfortunately, I don't know everybody can hold on, because they're talking here about these businesses. They asked them if they got a business within weeks or months, and I can't read the numbers, but it's like what, 40 some percent said that they would if they're small, and then the bigger ones was like 40 or 46%, and then 45
weeks or months. They said if this does not get resolved. Now I think it will get resolved. I just don't know how quickly it's going to get resolved. But they're talking, if it does not get resolved, we're talking half of these toy companies, 45% are going to go out of business.
And there was 410 responded to this. If you go down, 410 those SMEs or whatever.
Yeah, small, medium size. Yeah. So
410 of them responded for this data.
That's quite a few, because this is the Toy Association. So there aren't a lot of toy companies, right? There really aren't. Most of them are smaller, niche. Again, Hasbro and Mattel, the big players and all of this. They can absorb it. I guess now I'm kind of looking at it in hindsight, like, oh, maybe Hasbro was ahead of the curve. They just outsource all their stuff to other companies, but then they're not getting royalties if, you know, the loyal subjects or whatever can't produce toys.
No.
But yeah, 81% are delaying orders. Small ones, mid-size, 64% canceling orders, 80% mid-size or canceling orders because they probably have a lot more inventory. Have to raise prices, almost all of them. Obviously, you're going to have to raise prices.
So it's going to be, even if there's stuff available, it's going to be a lot more limited this year.
Yeah.
Thank goodness our kids aren't into toys.
But now, well, that's the thing. Which kids are in the toys?
Stitches. Look at all the stitches.
Look at all the stitches. Oh, Bob is crying now. Bob's crying. Bob's
probably making a backdoor deal. He's up their butts.
Yeah.
He's like their suppository.
So this is, of course, Fox News puts the positive spin on, which is like, well, everybody's going to buy from U.S. manufacturers. I'm like, yeah, maybe. It depends on what they're making, right? If kids want, I mean, I guess here's the thing too. Like, are kids even going to notice? Like, as long as they get that Switch 2 for Christmas, do they care if they get toys? You know?
I mean,
I don't know.
Like, you know, a lot of the games are digital too. Like, so after you buy the system, they don't have to worry about, you know, it being made in China. Not just Switch 2, but just in general. Like, our kids love Steam, so I just buy gift cards for like the online stuff, and they're good to go. I mean, if it's our kids.
Yeah. So this was on CNN. It said no toys are currently being produced in China, and there are reports that major retailers here in the U.S. are starting to cancel orders.
That's what that one thing said too. Yeah.
Yes, it was Jake Tapper. They talked to Jake Tapper. So this is Greg Ahern, I guess, Toy Association president and CEO. He said that 145% tariffs could increase prices of games, dolls, cars, and other toys. Also, some publishing, also board games, definitely. That's a huge thing. I said 80% of the toys sold in the U.S. are sourced from China. I think it's higher than that. I think it's like 90%. Or they have components that are, you know, well, it's overseas. So it's probably like 95% overseas. Some of them China, some of them like Vietnam, some of them, you know, when we were kids, it was Malaysia, Taiwan.
Vietnam too then.
Yeah. So they said that the not-for-profit trade association represents more than 950 businesses in the industry, is hopeful due to a White House rule implemented last week that exempts some electronics from China's import tariffs. Yet some. Basically phones and laptops, but I guess the video games are not immune to it, but Nintendo is going to go ahead and eat it, you know, because they want people to get the Switches, right?
Because, you know, they're going to eat it because the games are all digital. So that you pay the $4.99 and you're going to go buy a lot more games that they get to keep the entire cost of. There's no manufacturing in China where you have to wait for the game to come in. You just buy it online. So yeah, it's smart on their part because they know they'll make all the money up in the games by not raising the price on it. They used to do that all the time with these systems. They'd make it like not as much as some of them they'd sell for a loss just because they knew they'd make it up with the games.
Yeah. So that's just it. And that's what Sony did too. Sony sold the PlayStations they lost because they're like, well, over the lifetime, this person that buys this console, we might lose $100 now, but we're going to make thousands of dollars off this person.
Right. So, and since all the games are digital.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. But the price difference isn't very much, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But they're saying, they're talking about the American toy companies. They have what's this one? Simplay 3. They're hiring 10% more workers. They make slides, playhouses, play tables, and other children's toys using rotational molding process in Ohio.
Oh, good.
Which is cool. But like I said, it's not everything, right?
Crazy Art's going to. Now I know Crayola's in the US too.
Crayola isn't. Yeah, I remember Mr. Rogers. You remember Mr. Rogers when they went to Crayola Effect and they showed you how they made the Crayola crayons? Yeah. But again, it's the majority of stuff is produced overseas. Would I like to see it come over here? Yeah. I would love to
see that.
Is it going to happen by Christmas? Hell no. There's no way.
Not by Christmas this year. Hey, wait. So go back to Crazy Art. Their locations are in Lewisburg, Tennessee, and Jacksonville, Florida.
Huh. Okay.
So I didn't even know they were down there. I had no idea.
No. So there we go. So let's talk about the loyal subjects here real quick. So they had an open learn. So they're in LA.
Crap. A lot of toy companies are in LA.
Yes. Well, it makes sense to be if you're getting all your stuff from China, it makes sense to be on the West Coast, right?
Right.
Because that's where.
Unfortunately, it took forever and a day for us to get gem dolls over here. It was ridiculous how long it took it took me to get a gem doll. I am a person.
Yes.
I got one though, so we're good.
So this is interesting though, because he's talking about how he's Main Street. He's talking about how his family was in the military. It's a small business.
A lot of them are like this.
Yeah.
They just worked really hard, made their own thing. I think Super Seven's another one. I don't know how they're impacted. I'm sure they're impacted.
Oh, I'm sure
they're another one that just kind of started and built their own thing up. And
they were I think a store. I want to say a store in San Francisco, and then they had a magazine, and then they wound up.
Yeah, so I mean, it's kind of like us. We took a roundabout way of getting to where we're at now.
Yeah. But he's talking about how he worked hard his whole life and he started his own toy company and he didn't have a lot of money when he started. And he believed in the American dream.
$500. And that's
$500.
$500
16 years ago.
Our loyal subjects.
2-bedroom rundown Spanish flat roof bungalow in West Hollywood. I ran the entire thing out of my living room. I eventually scored an office. I took modest internet sales and turned the company into a multi-million-dollar enterprise, serving the largest retailers on the planet, working with they've actually grown quite because, again, we follow toys in the toy industry and they used to just do like little like knick-knacky type figures, right?
Well, I'm a little bit like I'm mad at them right now because the strawberry shortcake figures at Five Below were really, really nice. I wish they had more they were more like the size of the original shortcake figures, but okay. Not a problem. But they take them and now they're making them. They're more like the I don't know what, like the racery type material, like the stuff that would rip easy that you'd see like on a keychain or something. They have apricot, and I didn't get her because she's like sucks.
She's the baby with the ass hat.
Yeah, apricot. And I'm mad.
She's the one that has
little subjects, I'm filing my complaint. Gem, great. Can't wait for mask. Like shortcake, but those last ones aren't it. Anyway,
if she were only made in the U.S., you could drive to the factory and say, "Give me my damn ass hat, shortcake doll. I need her."
What these little figures need? Brushable hair.
They do.
I have a whole bunch of brushable hair at home.
So yeah, you do. You have a ton of them. So basically, look, he's just going on about how people are going to lose their jobs over this.
Yeah, it's not good.
He said that China didn't come in after the toy industry jobs in the U.S. In fact, China powered job creation.
No, see, I'm not going to agree with
That's where I'm kind of like torn.
Not going to agree with you on this one because he's like, well, our friends in China, and I'm like, okay, but if you make stuff over here, it wouldn't be such a big problem.
We need to have the capability. Actually, if China were smart, some of these companies in China, if they were allowed to set up operations in the U.S. without the CCP controlling them.
See, you already know you can answer that.
What I'm saying? Like if they could work a deal out or they could like sub-license it, you know what I'm saying? And set up a factory here in the U.S. But it'd probably go about like gung-ho or something where there'd be a culture clash. But yeah, he said basically just, it's gonna kill toy companies, right? He said 1,000 worker toy factory in the U.S. would cost $500 million or more to build, compared to 30 to 40 million in China. Would take years to build, untold billions in government assistance. Nobody has 500 million lying around.
Translation.
Okay.
If you do it here, it's going to cost me a lot more money, and I want to keep buying it in China. Is the translation?
Yeah. I mean, that's what's hard to. And then a lot of times, like it's like people want to have their cake and eat it too. And this was kind of frustrating too, because I'm like, okay, well, bring the jobs here. The U.S. fantastic. Well, we also like unions.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, now everybody's paycheck is doubled, and now the cost of the end product is quadrupled. So it's like, which is it?
I think what's going on with these people is I like going to China. I like getting my stuff cheap, and I can get it now. And that's
who doesn't want it cheap and now, right?
That's the issue right there. It's like, don't take our job away, but we don't want to make jobs for other people unless it's going through China.
So I mean, you can agree, disagree, whatever. We got people on both sides of the thing, right? It doesn't matter what, I mean, anything about tariff, like, it doesn't matter what the hell I say about tariff. One, I'm just a guy on YouTube who gives a shit what I think, but
it doesn't matter what you say. They're going to be mad at you anyway.
Exactly. Like, there's no way to win
me every day. They're always pissed at me. And if they can't find anything else to be mad about, they make fun of my voice.
I know. It's like, there's no way. Like I said, I had somebody melt down on the gaming channel because I said Nintendo was going to eat it and release the Switch at the $450 price they advertised. I said why it was a good business move, but then that person's like, but you don't understand what Trump's trying to do, and it's I hate you and I hate your channel. And then if I said, well, Trump sucks and his tariffs suck, then we're gonna get people on the other side. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
I honestly see both sides of the whole argument. I think something needs to be done. I just think it was done.
We need to do it 20, 30 years ago.
Well, yeah.
It need to be.
You have a 20, 30-year-old problem. You can't fix it in like 5 months. It's just not going to happen. I think they're trying to do it before, everything gets switched out if people get voted in or out. But it's just like, it's just not really feasible to do it that quickly. The whole situation's messed up. So anyway, a lot of people might lose their jobs, a lot of small companies. At the end of the day, they're the ones, and it sounds like on both sides, in China and in the United States, are getting caught in the middle of this whole thing.
Well, like I said, there are lots of toys cheap at Ollie's. Maybe Ollie's can actually sell some of that stuff
nobody wants it.
Well, if there aren't any alternatives.
They even lowered Ray down to what?
$2.99.
Yeah, she was more than that
10-year-old figure, $2.99. Force Awakens Ray.
Still can't get rid of her. They don't
still
want
can't
her.
Well, now this is her year, Ray. This is your year. If
not according to Star Wars Celebration, they didn't even mention her.
We're going to talk about that in a different video, but I'm like, this is it, girl. You've been waiting 10 years to go home. You're getting off the island of misfit toys because nobody else is making toys.
They don't want her even at $3. I don't think they'll sell even if there's nothing else.
Recycle her. Upcycle her. I don't know. Turn her into somebody else.
I have someone to toys and turn them into something else. I should probably do that. I make her that people actually want this toy.
Would you think Kelly Marie Tran would get mad if like somebody bought one of her action figures and turned her into like a little JD Vance or something? You think she'd get pissed about that? Like somebody would just kit bash her, put a little beard on her or something.
Now someone's gonna go do that because you said,
oh my God.
Are we gonna wrap this one?
We're gonna wrap. That's it. Oh my God. You take all those Rays and you can just repurpose her into something else. What's this year's hot movie? Cool. Oh, we're gonna make Ray a Minecraft. We're gonna make Ray a Jack Black Minecraft figure.
Well, you're gonna have to add some weight.
We're gonna add some weight to her, get some putty put around her. Yeah, there you go. All right. Here you go, kids. Mommy made this for you.
Hey, I have made my kids' toys for Christmas, so don't be mocking it.
And we also had the Minecraft quilt. I was gonna say the Minecraft quilt.
Oh, I did. I made a Minecraft quilt. You should find a picture of that. My daughter wanted, they had a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, and it was Hoodooed, and I forget who he came with. Was it Scare Screams? Anyway.
Monster High, right?
Monster High. Yeah. And I could not afford that. It was really expensive online. So I went and made her one. I'll have to get a picture of it sometime. But
actually, I think yours is better than the official one.
And I was very proud of it. And she loved it, and she still loves it. It's one of her favorite things. And I made it. And my mom used to make us stuff. My favorite thing as a kid was a big dollhouse, and my parents built it because they said the ones in the store were crap. They had a bunch of stuff left over from building our house when I was a kid. So they just built me a dollhouse with the stuff that was in our own house. So everything kind of matched my house.
Made in the USA.
That's right.
So
I make my kids. I have made my kids get. If I don't make them a gift every year, they get mad.
They do. They're gonna expect you to make them a gift when they're in their 40s.
I probably will.
Like, Mom, where's my homemade shit, Mom?
They love it.
All right, they do.
Shit.
No, it's not shit. It's good shit. It is.
Are you wrapping it up before you get in more trouble?
I am. I get beef sticks for Christmas, so whatever. Anyway, not from you, from my mom. let's wrap this up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.